She destroys a 24-year marriage because she was bored, and she ends up regretting it from Alpha Anthem.
I'm like, I'm the one who ended it. This was my choice. I have this, in my apartment. This is all my stuff. This is my choice. You don't expect it to hurt 2 years later.
Welcome, fellas. In this episode, we will be dissecting videos of this lady who chose the city girl life over her family.
So she's 53. I don't know if you saw that or if I was in the way. Yeah, it was. 53-year-old. 53-year-old. So keep that in mind.
Who chose the city girl life over her family. She divorced her husband of 24 years thinking the grass was greener. 2 years into this new life, she realized that it was a mistake and probably will leave the rest of her life alone and full of regrets. Let's get started.
It was day 4 of commuting as a divorced gal. I forget that commuting is like really tiring. It felt really different to commute back and forth to the city and not to come home to my big house that I used to live in and to come home to my small apartment. Or I used to get into my car and drive home to my house, and my husband would be there and my son, and now it's my plants. I'm complaining, but it's like, ma'am, this is what did you think? Like you ended your 24-year marriage.
Right.
You sold your 5-bedroom house. You sold your dream. I'm not gonna lie, like it was really nice to be able to have people over and just to have everything like beautiful and perfect and matching and being able to go and sit outside in my backyard. Or now I don't have that. Now my kitchen is my living room and my living room is my kitchen.
Notice how she didn't say anything about missing her family or being married. It was all about matching silverware sets and
Or even her son. Like, okay, yeah, maybe you don't like your husband anymore. I mean, obviously he's your ex now, but your son, like you said, you used to go home to your husband and your son, and you chose this over your son, going home to your son. Wow, okay.
a house instead of an apartment. She misses the lifestyle, not them. But reality will hit her soon after she ends up lonely. Let's continue.
I thought I could talk about this. I didn't realize how raw it was. And I did not expect having a New York City office that I'm commuting into to stir up all of these feelings. I thought I was so past this. I moved out 2 years ago. I'm not.
And again, I don't think it's the creator or the person who posted this video, Alpha Anthem. I don't think he's the one adding this music. I think it's this woman adding this music to try and move the people listening and watching. And that in itself is kind of creepy, right? If you really think about it, it's creepy. She's romanticizing this and she likes it. I think she kind of likes it because it's like adding drama to her day-to-day life. And it's kind of, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's strange, man. It's creepy. Ultimately, it's creepy.
I had a whole wall in our house of like family portraits. And not in like a corny, horrible way, like in a cool way. Like I had great pictures.
So she's obviously very familiar with the word corny, and that's exactly what this is. This is very corny of you to do at 53 years old. Going on TikTok and speaking about this, adding this music. This is corny. You're worried about the wrong shit, woman.
And, I only kept the ones of my son, right? And this is one of them.
Imagine, 53 years old. I would say I'm probably, I don't know, maybe I'm pretty close to the age of her son. Maybe I'm a little bit older. If I were to go online and I saw my mom making these TikToks, I would be extremely worried. I probably wouldn't be able to just like brush that off and be like, oh, mom's just kind of having a therapy session on TikTok. I would be really concerned about her mental health. And I don't know, maybe there's more to this woman that we know. Chances are there is. But yeah, if my mom was doing this, Mom, you all right? Like, do you need me to come stay with you for a while? this isn't healthy, and especially a grown woman. This is quite immature, honestly. It is. But yeah, overall, I would be super worried about my mom if she was doing this shit. It's weird.
You put together a life with someone, right?
I beg, Mom, were you the one who added that background music? That was your idea? Okay, yeah, something is wrong here.
And you think you're going to be with them forever. And that's your plan. And you go into it fully, earnestly, thinking you're going to be with them forever.
Mom, stop showing my picture on TikTok, because that's what she's doing. Is it Alpha Anthem that's blurring out these photos?
And you think you're going
or was it her?
fully, earnestly, thinking you're going to be with them forever.
Because look at that. She's putting putting the picture up to her camera.
And then you're not. I took that of my son.
Yep, that's her son. So again, it's like, Mom, why are you blasting me? I don't want to be associated with you right now. Stop blasting my photo online. I don't consent to this. Stop it. Let's call up your therapist.
On a vacation. I think I was still trying.
Did you take your Prozac today?
But unhappy, but trying. It's sad. No one gets married thinking they're going to get divorced. Right? What is it? Half of all marriages, or how many marriages actually end in divorce?
Yeah, and how many of those are initiated by women? A majority. Women like you.
Right?
She actually knows the divorce statistics. What she probably didn't know was that half of the people who initiated the divorce ended up regretting. She said they even went for vacations together. How many families could afford going for vacations? So that means they were actually well off financially. Majority of women who file for divorces cite finances as one of the reasons, but this wasn't the case for her.
So it's almost rare that you want to be with someone forever. So if you have that, it's so fucking awesome. If you don't have it and you're fighting for it, and that you just can't get there, and then it ends, and then it just feels so awful. I'm the one who ended it. This was my choice. I have this, in my apartment. This is all my stuff. This is my choice. You don't expect it to hurt 2 years later.
Get help.
Divorcing her husband didn't make her happy. These women delude themselves into thinking that divorce is just a reset button. Then they are shocked to find that it isn't. So many of them seem to think their romance before getting married will continue exactly the same after marriage. The husband does his best to provide for his family, and the wife gets bored because he is probably busy. So now,
well, and I have got to believe that these women who post about their divorce on TikTok like this were previously exposed to other women talking and encouraging other women to initiate a divorce. Because her tendency to go online and post about it, her tendency to go on social media and create content, well, that tells me she's certainly at least a consumer of content as well. She's definitely a consumer. So she probably came across women encouraging her to do this. And so once she does it herself, she then goes to that same social media where she was encouraged to do it, to talk about how she did it. So, a woman who is comfortable and inclined to post on social media certainly consumes it. No doubt about it.
she decides to seek greener pastures. This is the typical playbook of the modern woman. They end up whining, self-pitying, validation-seeking, tear-stricken rants about their current situation. Even if they went back to their husbands, they'd still whine and complain later and do the exact same things they did previously that landed them in their present predicament. Women...
And you got to think about it. It's pretty much inevitable that these women eventually find themselves going down some sort of feminist rabbit hole on social media. It's almost unavoidable to come across these female content creators who kind of talk about how divorce is liberating and it's encouraged, and actually you'll feel better, and actually all along you've been oppressed and this partner of yours isn't living up to what you deserve, like it's almost inevitable that these women find themselves consuming some of it. And really how they respond dictates if they'll be presented with more of it. If they come across it and they're like, no, that's bullshit, next. Well, the algorithm probably is going to be less inclined to serve them more of it. But if they stay and watch it, well, maybe they like it. Maybe they save it for the future. Well, the algorithm is just going to feed them more and more and more of it until it consumes them. And then they just act out the content they've been consuming. So you know what, man? I don't know the data on how frequently it is women that are initiating the divorce. And when I say that, I mean I don't know the exact year. But I think that if we were to get some sort of updated study, I'll have to check back on what year it is that they conducted the study to find out it's about 70 to 90% of women. But I think with social media, it's probably going to start to get worse. It'll probably start to get worse. And I mean, I don't know how you get much worse than 90% to the point to where it's like 98%. But when it goes up to 90%, it's like college-educated women, I believe. But I don't know, maybe that, because it starts at 70%. Maybe it will then begin to start at like 80%, 80 to 90. When we start seeing 80% of women are initiating divorces, and that's like the beginning, that's a big problem. Not saying it's not already a big problem, but right now it's 70 to 90. Once we get to 80 to 90, 80 to 95, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if that's where we're headed. Unfortunately, I'm not happy to say that. This shit depresses me. You know, it depresses me, but it also frees me and liberates me, and it tells me the truth. It allows me to get the knowledge that I need, the information I need to make good decisions for myself. You know, living with my head in the sand, not knowing, kind of just trying to ignore the fact that women are initiating divorce so much. It's not a good strategy. So yeah, it's upsetting, but it's also freeing in a way. And yeah, it is what it is, right? It is what it is.
Loyal to you, they're loyal to their need of you. And once their needs change, so too does their loyalty.
Well, let's have a look at some of these comments. What do you say? This guy says, my wife of 24 years dumped me. Thank God I am so much happier now. She wants me back, but no way. Yeah, you know, and that's something that we also don't talk about is perhaps some of these divorces, these men are kind of happy. You know, maybe they're also pretty stoked about it. You know, I mean, we see how crazy some of these women are. And I also think that it's harder for men to initiate breakups. It's harder for men to initiate divorces because perhaps they don't want to hurt the woman's feelings and they think it'll hurt her. I think women are less empathetic in that way and more so selfish. If they want to leave a marriage, if they want to leave a relationship, they're really only going to consider themselves, I think. Generally speaking, sure, there's exceptions, of course, but I think women are more inclined to initiate the breakup without feeling that bad about it, whereas I think it's different for men. So perhaps some of these women free these men when they wouldn't do themselves. I think there's like a kind of a stigma that men do, and it's that if they want to break up with a woman, they kind of try to get her to end the relationship. This person says, I, me. Sounds like her ex and son got the better deal, right? So that's another thing as well. 53 years old, calling herself girl. Creepy granny on the loose. Well, I mean, guys and girls. You know, right? You hear people say guys. Nobody really says gals. What's the opposite of guys? Girls. I'm not really that worried about that. Don't feel sorry for her, yeah. No, why would I? Lie in the bed you made. That's right. She certainly will. This one here says, I'm bored with the 5-bedroom house, husband and son, vacations, and a killer backyard. What I need is an overpriced flat in a grimy big city so that I can enjoy menopause alone. Oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah, yep. Crazy. What are they saying here? True that. Yeah, that's... Couldn't have said it better myself, that's for sure. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave the video there. So if you enjoyed that, I would appreciate a like, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.